My f15 sister, f10, hasn't eaten since Dad hit her on Sunday for making us late to church. I am not the op. These posts were made by you, Throramashed. I followed this post 2 years ago when it was trending at the top of our relationship advice. And Oop recently made an update in January due to many people who reached out with well wishes, including myself. I asked permission to repost due to the sensitivity of the topic, and she said it was fine since our relationship advice no longer allowed posts from those under 18. Unlike when she originally posted. Her update comes from our Ask Parents. Trigger warning: physical, mental, emotional child abuse. Less than. Mood spoiler. Upsetting, disheartening. Less than. Original post, October 10, 2021. Her update was made at the bottom of this post. My dad and a few other men were installed as church trustees on Sunday and stood with the pastor on stage. And they had to do it for both services. It was announced that he was voted in during a church event where they voted for the members. And we were all there to support him. He also went shopping for what we wore on Sunday too and wanted all of us to look really nice. Dad always yells whenever we're running late. And most of the time, he's yelling at my sister, Carol, because she takes too long to get dressed. And in the past, he's thrown or hit things too. He kicked a chair in the dining room pretty loud when we were younger. And he also threw something that put a hole in the wall too. I used to get spanked for taking too long, but that was a long time ago. With Dad being installed on Sunday, he wanted us there really early. But when my sister was taking a long time like she normally does, he began yelling at her and cursing too. And I tried to help her get dressed in the past after finishing my stuff early. But he'll yell at me and says she has to do it herself. I've snuck into her room to help her when Dad doesn't want me to because Mom won't help her and is too afraid to say anything to Dad. He also yells at her and curses at her too. However, this Sunday, he had me and Mom wait in the car when we were done. And he did this before too. Carol wasn't done though, and when Dad came out, she wasn't with him. And when he came in the car, he said she wasn't going. When I asked why, he said she wasn't listening, and a bunch of other things that I don't want to write. But basically calling her stupid, and stuff like that. Along with how we were already late. He's left her home before when she was sick or me in the past or if we're running really late. So I didn't think too much of it. However, when we got back, my sister was still crying in her room. And she had a bruise on her cheek as well. When I asked her what happened, she said that Dad hit her. And she also hasn't eaten since as it's now Tuesday and has refused to eat with us at all. When I told Mom what happened and she saw for herself, she said that she would talk to Dad. But that was on Sunday and she doesn't want to talk about it anymore. I don't know if she talked to Dad, but when I tried to talk to him, he told me to mind my business and that I used to be just as bad at her age. But when I told him that he wasn't right, he just yelled at me and Mom saw and wouldn't do anything. And she also hasn't gone to school the past few days either because Mom told them that she wasn't feeling well. How can I help her when they refuse to do anything and just yell at me for bringing it up? Unless she's eating when I'm not around. She hasn't eaten much of anything since Sunday morning. I want to tell someone, but if I do, I'm afraid that they won't be able to do anything to help. So I want to ask how I should in case I try to do that. I just need help because they won't help me at all. Edit. I am leaning towards telling a teacher tomorrow. I was just afraid of nothing happening and getting further punished because Mom keeps defending him. And would maybe say I'm lying. I'm also going to take a photo of the bruise, since they aren't allowing my sister to leave the home or go to school until the bruise heals. I'm also going to try and sneak her food because Dad said that she's not allowed to eat if she refuses to eat with the family. Which is why sneaking her food is hard. But I'll try after they go to sleep, I'm thinking, although I know that she needs it at earlier hours. 2. Update January 23, 2023. Her update was made at the bottom of this post. I wanted to come back to this as something else happened recently that made me upset. But also because a lot of people were asking if we were okay. Things just got really crazy, which was why I didn't check Reddit for a bit. But I got a lot of messages asking if we were okay when I came back to vent about something else. I tried to make a new post. But our relationship advice doesn't seem to allow updates under 18 anymore. And I will be turning 18 in a few months. The other subreddits I posted to were also locked. So that left me with here to make an update. I mentioned that my dad didn't allow my sister to go to school until the bruise healed. And a lot of people told me to tell a teacher. I did tell a teacher. But I don't think anything major happened. My sister didn't go back to school until it healed. And I got punished for telling her. I'm guessing someone from the school called my parents. And that led to a big talk with my parents about how someone in the school called or spoke to them. My parents used to spank me in the past. But they didn't hit me when we talked. They took away privileges including my phone, laptop, not allowing me to see friends. And I was 15 when we talked. They also yelled at me. And I didn't get to see some friends for months because my parents said I made up lies about them. I was also taken out of sports at a place I used to play at after school. And me telling the teacher just became a big thing. My sister said she didn't say anything about being hit upon returning to school because it would have caused more trouble. And our parents told her not to. I didn't know that they told her that until too late. But things have been better with her and my parents since. But for me, things have been worse. I mentioned that I was gonna try to talk to my aunt. And I told her what happened after my parents told her to deny it. She said that the school should have called CPS and that she would because it wasn't the first time. Dad hit us. He hit me in the past for not wanting to go to church. And Mom slapped me across the face for church too. I told Auntie about how telling the school got me in trouble. And she said she didn't want me to get hit for telling her. So she said she'd call CPS herself without talking to my parents beforehand. She also said that the teacher could have called CPS already. But that another call would add to the record for the future. And she told me to tell her if he hit us again. Dad has not hit me since. Maybe because he's afraid of people finding out now. But he began treating me differently since telling the school, CPS, because he said it could gotten him cancelled if people outside of church learned about it. Some people suggested telling people in the church about how he hit us. But I don't think that would work because they're really popular. And Dad was re-elected as trustee since my first post. Which really bothers me for how people see him. They're still mad at me for telling others. And I haven't been allowed to work as part of punishment. I hope that that can change once I'm 18. But they said that college is off the table as a result. I honestly don't want their help because I'll just be tied to them for 4 more years. And my sister doesn't talk to me much either. She said she didn't want me to tell anyone back then. And she's 12 now. I never thought telling my teacher would result in everything that happened. Such major punishments. But I'd do it again honestly. Mom said I could have been disowned for trying to get them in trouble too. I'm just trying to see how I can move out with no work experience thanks to their punishment. But also hoping I can repair things with my sister before I move out because we're no longer close. And I think it's because she's afraid to go against them. I just feel like I'm running out of time to connect with her before I turn 18. And she's been distant for over 2 years. Those poor kids. The little sister is seeing this as being betrayed by Oop. Probably because that's how their parents have portrayed it all, but Oop is just trying to help protect her. I truly wish nothing but the worst for those parents. Oop and her sister are being failed by every adult in their lives. I really hope Oop is able to get out when she turns 18. What the hell did I just read? Why isn't the teacher a mandatory reporter for abuse? The adults in this story, except the aunt, are just failing these children on every front, all because dad is high up in the church. The teacher who ratted out a child WHO reported abuse should win the Ready for Villain of the Year. That's effing unconscionable. As for the parents, some people are bad because they're simply bad. Other people are bad because they're mindlessly following a deviant religious morality. Not sure which category these parents belong to. And not sure it really matters either. If you are reading this, you did nothing wrong. The adults in your life have failed you. Big time. And I am so sorry for this. Hopefully you can get out of that house and find your own job, education, career, life. System failed. Phew, my heart breaks for them. I wonder if this is in one of those areas here in America, where their religion rules the entire town. Police, schools, everything. Yet, Christians. Reminds of that gymnastics pedo dad story on here a while back. Pathetic of the mom to just accept this. If those teachers didn't call CPS, that's a misdemeanor and they should lose their license. They're also not supposed to call the parents. Just CPS. Jesus tap dancing Christ. It infuriates me that the 12-yo is completely broken. And dad is likely proud of himself because of it, likely thinks it's proof of his parenting ability. If CPS won't do anything, I hope they both get the hell out of there at their first opportunity. Religion and authoritarian assholes. A perpetual self-reinforcing cycle of horror. Christians. Wow, whatever teacher she told needs to be fired. Hey, my parents beat my sister and used to beat me. Wow, really? Let me call them and ask them all about it. I knew exactly what kind of man OOP's dad was 2 sentences in. And it was confirmed by him acting like he was a victim and could have been cancelled. Literally a cockroach in a human skin suit like MIB. And this is why occasionally we need small-town justice. Poor kids need to get emancipated so their school funding options don't get blocked by their parents' income levels. I hope the aunt picks up Boop on her 18th birthday and gets her out of that home. I lived that for a while. The church won't care. They actually helped my stepdad hide my bruises by having me put in their private school, but by the time I hit middle school, my rage and fight back led to me getting kicked out back to public school. CPS and the public school were always notified by friends and honestly my face, and they did nothing. I ended up joining a sport where I had to bulk up and learn. Men were really easily disabled if you threw a knee or kicked in the right place. So it stopped being me when I kept fighting back and started winning. My mom started getting hit instead. Right before I left at 17 after graduation, he tried to ground me. I said no and went to a friend's house for her graduation party. I came back to him laying into my mom when I got back and just lost it. He was severely injured. After I was done, I packed and left. Ironically, like 5 years later, he died of a heart attack. He left everything to me in the will. It was so dumb. Coming out of something like this, you either get someone who just rages out or someone who has to hide to leave. The systems in place in this country are useless. They have been for a long time. We need to get help for children in these situations. I was a teacher. We are mandatory reporters in my state. If a student reports abuse, we call CPS. Period. I don't need permission from my principal. I don't call the parents first, I call CPS. Fuck that teacher. Somehow it is so incredibly telling that the dad used the phrase, get cancelled, when describing consequences of his own actions. Lol. They ask the question all the time, why are people leaving church? And this is the reason why. With Christians like that, you see why the US Christian majority is quickly becoming the minority.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.